Yo, what's up, everybody? HELMETFIRE here. Today, we're going to get back into an update for the Sony KADOKAWA takeover acquisition talk. There was a big update on this, and we're going to take a look straight from Insider Gaming right here. And it's so here's kind of the update on what happened. So if you weren't caught up from my last video, basically what happened is that there were confirmed talks with Sony potentially buying out KADOKAWA, which KADOKAWA is like a media conglomerate. They own a lot of things, not just video games. They own video games, anime, all kinds of stuff. They've been around a very long time. So much got reported even that there were employees that work under KADOKAWA that really wanted this to happen. And Sony did confirm like a letter of intent, and it really looked like it was going to happen that way, but not quite. So here's kind of what happened. So I'm going to read this here from Insider Gaming, and it says, they announced the formation of a strategic alliance with KADOKAWA, taking over 10% of the company's shares. As a result, Sony will become the company's largest shareholder. The transaction scheduled for January 7th will cost Sony approximately $320 million. So it's what about the acquisition, which, you know, of course, so Sony does not intend to acquire any more shares after this move, which indicates that they have given up on acquiring the whole conglomerate, at least for now. It says the strategic alliance will also strengthen the two companies' IPs. The two companies will sit down in the future to discuss production of live-action adaptations of prominent IPs, which is super cool because Dragon Ball, some of Dragon Ball's video game properties they own, and they own From Software. So, you know, live-action Elden Ring, who knows? Co-produce anime and expand the distribution of KADOKAWA anime globally. In games, Sony is to become a publisher for some of KADOKAWA's games. From Software's next original IP could become a Sony second-party game, for example. Let's see. The president and CFO said through this capital and business alliance will become the largest shareholder of KADOKAWA, which is 10%, by the way, such as light novels, comics, including publications and books, light novels and comics, as well as games and anime. By combining KADOKAWA's extensive IP and IP creation ecosystem, with strengthens of Sony, which have promoted the global expansion of a wide range of entertainment, blah, 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 blah. So the move also helps protect KADOKAWA from acquisitions by other companies. The company attempting hostile takeover will need Sony to agree to sell its shares, which makes the process more difficult and expensive. And again, Sony is now the largest shareholder at 10%. And yeah, if you ask me, I would say Sony is not going anywhere. I doubt very seriously anyone's going to come in and try to talk them out of acquiring anything from KADOKAWA. So, I mean, look, crazier things have happened in the industry, so who freaking knows? But either way, that's kind of what's going on here. And then they're saying, what do you think? And blah, blah, blah. So as far as like what we can expect, I don't really know, to be honest with you. I'm going to be straight up honest. This is kind of an interesting shift. It definitely looked like they were going to take the whole thing over, which a lot of people did not want. Maybe a lot of the KADOKAWA people did, but the gaming, you know, the consumer in the gaming world, the consumer base was largely against this, as Sony has, as of recent years, a pretty bad track record of certain leadership decisions and things like that. Concord obviously being their most recent massive failure for the brand, a complete embarrassment. And you know, there's a lot of other things like that in the industry. So one thing I did want to take as a positive from this that really sounded cool was where they said how they're in talks about doing live action adaptations of some of their IPs. I don't have a full list of all the IPs KADOKAWA owns. So if you know about that, let me know in the comments. From Software is the biggest one that came to light that people really made us think about, because, you know, they didn't want Sony to be in full control of From Software, especially giving the sore spot that gamers have for, you know, Bloodborne being held hostage by Sony for so freaking long. We're never, pack it up, boys. We're never getting the remaster or remake. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say that. We totally need that, Sony. So look, do your friends in the gaming consumer side a solid and make that freaking remake, would you? Live action IPs though, I'm down. Like I'm really curious which ones they would be. Elden Ring is obviously probably one of the most obvious guesses, as that would be really sick to have. I mean, look, if you look at like Game of Thrones minus the ending at the end of season 10 or whatever, like Game of Thrones was just it was done so well. You know, you could go get the writers and producers and stuff and like work with them on something for Elden Ring. You know, get George R. R. Martin in there. George R. R. Martin, of course, author of A Song of Ice and Fire, which is Game of Thrones, was a massive writing contributor to Elden Ring. So that just to me seems like it would be a really smart play if they ever wanted to branch into the live action stuff for Elden Ring. But anyway, so that's kind of the news. Again, Sony is now just the largest shareholder with this partnership. It will give them a lot of voice in a lot of Kadokawa's process, I would assume, but we don't yet know how far that goes. We don't yet know. You know, it does mean that Kadokawa gets to maintain their autonomy at the very least. And that, I think, is what a lot of consumers were really worried about. So I don't think we have to worry about a crazy hostile takeover or anything anymore. And we may even end up with some, you know, live action stuff with Elden Ring or who knows what. So again, let me know in the comments what you think. And do you think this is good news? Is this a W or an L? Let me know what you think. And if you know anything about more of Kadokawa's properties and anything that you would like to see that they have in their catalog that could be brought into live action, definitely let me know in the comments what you think. Again, if you want to support the channel, the best way to do that is hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notifications, follow us on Rumble especially, and that way you don't miss out on future content. With that, my name's HELMETFIRE. I'm going to get the hell out of here. You guys have yourselves a good one.
HELMETFIRE.